Yo, what's up? It's Jack, and welcome to the Life as a Video Game podcast. I just want to say thanks to everyone for sending in your comments and questions under the last video. For the first video, I had a load of stuff, for the first vodcast, I should say, I had a load of stuff prepared, articles, things like that. But then I realised that why go to all that effort and bother when I can just get you guys to send me your comments and questions and I will answer them throughout the whole vodcast. In which case that gives me shitload more time to write the next video, which I've been doing this week. So, bonus. So, the video that's coming out this weekend, which I'm about to film after this podcast, is a very saucy one. I mean saucy as in good, like ketchup or mustard, or I don't like mustard. Don't know why I said that, I panicked. No, the video that's coming out this weekend is about, what is it about? I've just been writing it. It's about, let me have a look. What is my video about this weekend? Do you ever do that? Like, I know what bloody video I've written. I've been writing it all weekend. And then you have a brain fart and your brain goes missing. Ah, yeah, I remember it now. I've been jolted. My memory has been jolted back to submission by looking at what I've been writing for the last 3 days. Okay, so the title of the next video is, because, videos have got to be clickbaity as possible to make, the plebs watch them. You're not a pleb. If you're watching this, you ain't a pleb. Title of the video is this: Unbelievable discovery. This is the edge of the simulation. So, I was kind of taking it down the extreme end of things, Unbelievable discovery. It is an unbelievable discovery by me, because I discovered something rather crazy that I never knew, and I thought, gotta tell you guys about it. Basically, I've discovered the speed of the simulation. But I'm not going to tell you it now, because that'll ruin the surprise for the weekend, won't it? Quite excited about this one. Didn't take me long to write, because it's fairly self-explanatory. There's not many jokes in it either, because I didn't want to make it too funny. Because I'm a funny guy, said the mushroom. Nah, it doesn't work. Right. Don't do jokes on the fly, Jack, for crying out loud. I've been listening to a lot of Bill Burr podcasts, and he is naturally funny, whereas I am not naturally funny. I have to work at it. I can't just riff. I haven't done stand-up for years, so it's pretty bloody hard, actually. And what I might do is, I'm going to experiment with this vodcast by clipping out all the little ums and ahs and, faffy bits where I sound like I've got plums in my mouth. So, as you may have realised also, plums is my favourite word. I love plums. When you're walking around the house, right, and you're just minding your own business, and do you have little games that go through your mind, little default phrases, little songs, little earworms, I think they call them, because I have them, and it's mostly about plums. I've got one. I don't know if I should even say this, but I've said it now, so I might as well carry on, finish what I was saying. I've got one called, God, I don't know why I'm saying this. It goes around my head, regularly, and it goes, plums up the bum with no harm done. Don't know why, don't know where that came from. I think it's just nice because it rhymes, but I've never put plums up my bum. Never am I going to, either. But I just like the way it sounds. I like thinking about plums. I like singing about plums. I like saying the word plums. I'm addicted to plums. I don't even like eating plums. I just like saying plums. So, yeah. If you can't think of anything to comment under this video, like a question, just comment plums, and I'll give you a thumbs up. I really should have scripted this bloody vodcast, because now I'm talking about plums when I should be talking about other stuff. Whoops. Also, another another thing to say, housekeeping, is thanks for all your questions. There's a lot to get through today. You don't have to just only ask me questions about the simulation or life being a video game, right? I know that's the title of the podcast, but you can ask me anything that you want. You can ask me anything about life, or about plums up the bum, or or anything like that. You can ask me anything. What I had for breakfast, advice. If you want me to give you advice, I mean, I'm the last person who should be giving out advice to people about how to live their life or anything like that. But if you do want my advice, then ask me a ruddy question and I'll get to it. And I'll do the best I can. Next thing to mention, I've just realised, I'm wearing my baseball cap because I don't like how my hair looks, alright? So I'm wearing my baseball cap. Okay. Anything else to mention? I feel like I go off on tangents and then I've forgotten what I was saying and then I can't remember how to get back to it, if that makes sense. It's like when you go on little like surfing things in your mind where you start thinking about something and then you think, oh, it's a brilliant thought, and then you come back round, you start thinking about something else because that leads to something else naturally, and then you think, God, what was that brilliant idea I just had? I didn't write it down, I need to write it down, and then you can't remember it, so you have to backtrack and you go, well, I was thinking about plums and then I went back and I was thinking about something else. And you try and retrace your steps through your thoughts. It's weird. Sometimes it works. Most of the time it doesn't. Or what I do is, if I was looking at something, I go back to what I was looking at, and then it reminds me of the thing that I was thinking about. So, yeah, it's weird. That's your mind. They're fallible. They're little chimps' minds, trapped in a big fat skull. Anyway, I'm just waffling now. Also, the last video I did, this is the last thing I wanted to mention, I wanted to quickly talk about the last video that I made, which was Superhuman, the one about Wim Hof, kind of about Wim Hof. It was kind of like an introductory video. It took me about 3 weeks to write, and usually a video only takes me a couple of days to write if I've nicked the idea from someone. And so, yeah, but it took me long because I was writing it freeform, and I started writing it and it was about one thing. And then I did some research and it went off and it was about another thing. And then it became a video about something completely different from what I first wrote it about. That's why I think it's a little bit all over the place. But I still wanted to publish it because, you know, purists out there would say, ooh, don't publish it if you're not sure about it. But I think it's still worth publishing because you can see my thought process. And I think that's interesting. You know, I think it's good to share, things that you're not sure about because it raises questions and then we can talk about it like a big mothers meeting. Sit around in a big group and go, ooh, what has your child been up to? Oh, isn't that lovely? Oh, little Billy, what's he been doing? Isn't he cute? No, he's not. Babies all look the same. So don't start all that. But you can't say that to the mother, can you? Oh, look at this picture of my baby, isn't it cute? No, it's not. It's not cute at all. I mean, you know, it's a baby. They all look the same. They all look like fat old bald men. They just do. Not my problem. But it's just, you know, no offence to any women and their kids, but babies do look the same, so whatever. Let's get on with your questions. Right, question from Real Make Believe, and they have asked, one thing we can know for sure is that all the world is a stage and every man, every woman is a player upon it. As Shakespeare told us long ago, nothing has changed, except we can improve our acting skills for certain. Yeah, exactly. There's a thing about Shakespeare is like, he either, from all the plays and stuff that he wrote, which I'm not a fan of, I think they're boring, he's going to write something. It's like a broken clock is right twice a day. Could be that. Or did Shakespeare have some knowledge that we are living in a video game? I mean, trying to decipher some of the stuff he's written is next to impossible. They make you do it in school, college, university, and it's just mind-numbing. Trying to read through, decipher the bullshit. It's like trying to read the early version of the Bible. It's impossible. You can't translate the bloody thing. It's nonsensical. And apparently he invented about 20,000 words. That's like a new language. Are you meant to get to the bottom of that and discover what he really meant? You can't. So But I like the quote, and I've used it before. All the world is a stage, and every man, woman, a player upon it. You're right. We are. We're actors in each other's plays. You know, like when you watch a play, it kind of makes sense. A human life is like a. Let's face it. Most of life is a tragedy. Life is like a tragicomedy. Like Afterlife with Ricky Gervais. Life is a tragicomedy because most of life is grim and pretty shit, isn't it? There's some moments where you're like, oh my God, I'm happy. Something good has actually happened to me. This has happened, that's happened, good, and all this sort of stuff. But most of it's tragic because everyone you know is going to die. You're going to die. We're all going to get ill at some point, sooner rather than later, usually. We're going to die. And it's kind of like, everyone you ever love is going to die. It's fucked up, man. It's fucked up. So the best you can hope for is to make it a bloody good ride, as great as possible. And you can do that by becoming rich, because money buys freedom. When you got freedom, you can do what the fuck you want. So if you don't want to work that shitty job, you don't have to. You can fuck off and do whatever you want to do. Like, it helps to have goals. Like, my particular goal is to get a sitcom on TV, right? Now, everything I'm doing is working towards that, It might not look like it, but I have a plan in place. I know what I'm doing, right? So you need to have a plan as well. And that's why journaling is really important. You want to get a pen, get some paper, every morning sit down and start planning. Because life is like war. If you don't have a plan, you're fucked. You need a strategy in place. You need to know what every dollar or pound that you have, where it's going and how it's being used. My advice is cancel all unnecessary payments to anything that you're paying out for that you're not sure about. Build a gym at home, because it's a faff walking to the gym and back. Cancel subscriptions to Netflix and shit like that. It's just a distraction anyway. Not that you should be working, Actually, yeah, fuck that, cancel. Ignore that, actually. Because, yeah, fuck it, you need some bloody entertainment and stuff. But what I mean is, don't make it your whole life about entertainment. You know what I mean? Because you've got to be working on your grind. You've got to be, find something that you really bloody like and stick to it like shit on a blanket. And then, after a couple of years, it might pay off. There's no guarantees. That's why it's hard to choose what you want to do, because there's no guarantees. It's not like, well, if you do this, you'll definitely be a millionaire in 5 years. There's just no way of knowing that shit, right? All right. Anyway, I went off on a tangent, but let's go on to the next question. This is from Catherine Golden, pardon me, who asks, can just imagine all the work that goes into editing these vids. I like both styles. Perhaps you could do them both ways. Otherwise, you could burn out and not wanting to keep on making these vids. Thanks, Catherine. I do worry about burning out sometimes, actually, because, I've got 1,600 subscribers, but, it's still a bloody slog. You know what I mean? And it's not growing that fast. So, sometimes I think, what's the point? But, you got to keep on keeping on. And it'll be a good lesson for you all when it does break through and more people find the channel, see the channel, and they see all the absolutely cracking advice that you're getting. They'll see it and they go, oh yeah, he kept going. Keep on keeping on. That's the advice, right? And I'm glad you like this style as well. I was a bit worried about it at first. When I published it, I thought, because it's not like the usual stuff I publish. I put a lot of time and effort into the editing. That takes a long time, right? There's all sorts of stuff that goes into it. My computer started spacking out the other day because I had so many B-roll videos saved to the downloads folder and images that it ran out of space. I was what are you supposed to do? So I had to buy I had one, an external hard drive. I had to bung everything on there. Nightmare. But yeah, the plan is to try and do a vodcast a week and a video at the weekend, and stick to that schedule. But it's not easy because I'm doing a lot of work with clients at the moment with editing their videos, because that's what makes me money. And that's a good point, actually. I might as well advertise my services now, because the more money I can make from that, the more time I get, more videos like these I can make. So if you need editing work done, or you want to do a consultation where I can help you come up with cool video ideas, maybe YouTube videos or videos for your social media to advertise your business, I've got all sorts of smashing ideas. You can either do an online consultation with me. I don't know how much to charge yet because I haven't started it. Perhaps £100, $125, whatever it is, for an hour consultation. After that, you can, if you live, in the UK and you want me to make a video from scratch, so come and meet you, see what you're selling or what your business is about. I'll come down, meet you, right? We'll talk about the options, or make a smashing video together, yeah. And it will be the bee's knees. So if you want that, I'll put a link below to a Google form where you can tell me what you need, and we'll go through it. Anyway, this isn't a whole advert, this vodcast, because we're getting into it. The questions, right? I'm sure I won't burn out, but it is hard juggling everything. All right, Man in the Mirror asks, my eyesight's terrible, I can hardly read this. My original theory was, if there was an advanced race running this reality, then perhaps they figured out the only way to make the smartest computer in the universe was to use all the beings that were going to die or volunteering to join this matrix by connecting their mind into the program while their body is placed in cryogenics, as to stop the body from aging or dying. By linking all the minds together can create a self-aware computer that is constantly learning. It's an interesting idea, isn't it? So basically what you're saying is that people volunteer to join this life, this matrix, which I reckon you'd have to be brave, be like joining the Marines or something, wouldn't it? Only the bravest of the brave will join, because it's fucking grim down here. And then obviously it's run by an advanced race running this reality. Yeah, man, definitely. Like I think this video game simulation is being run by us in the future, and that this is more than likely an ancestor simulation run to understand how they got to where they got to, because I think they probably have the technology to look at the entire history of humans on the planet, everything that a human ever did, and replicate it. I don't know how, because I can't envisage the future of the technology, but because it would be interesting for me to see where humans came from and how we evolved, and which bits of history were true and which bits weren't. And so I think us in the future would definitely want to do that as well. But that's just my idea. But yeah, placed in cryogenics, I reckon it will be some form of cryogenics, but not necessarily cryogenics, probably some sort of futuristic technological thing. By linking all minds together can create a self-aware computer that is constantly learning. Well, maybe that's kind of like AI. I think that sounds like a kind of Elon Musk Neuralink type thing, where our minds will be linked to AI and it will be constantly feeding off each other. And then we will enter simulations like that with AI to help us. That's where the idea of NPCs could come from. All right. Question from Ryan Lewis. Appreciate the effort you put into these videos, mate. Genuinely fascinating concepts to delve into. Either the channel is going to boom or the NPCs choose to ignore them. Keep it up, mate. Thanks, Ryan. Very nice of you, mate. It's always nice to get good feedback, good comments. So appreciated. Yeah, I do put a lot of effort into these videos, but it doesn't feel like effort when you enjoy it. And that's why I wanted to kind of, say to people, is that's got to be a strategy in life, is find something you really bloody like doing, because then when you do it, it doesn't really feel like work. Like, there's plenty of other things I could be doing right now. I could be playing video games maybe, even though I don't play video games, but I could, but I don't want to. I want to make these videos. It's what I want to do. And so if it booms or not, I don't mind, because I'll have learned something from this channel. And if it does boom one day, perfect. Yep. All right. Any thoughts on cyclical universe and consciousness singularity? Nope. Don't know what that is. you'll have to enlighten me because I ain't got no idea what you're talking about there. What type of simulation? A video game, probably. Question from Brian Roberts. Write up a script of questions about the likes of AI and VR. Take your camera around the pubs and clubs and ask the drunkards what their opinions are on the matters. I'd be cameraman if I was back. Alright, Brian. Cheers, mate. Yeah, you can come be cameraman if you want. I actually had a very similar idea to that, where I was going to go up to people on the street. I live in Norwich. Go up to people in the high street and say, what do you think about the simulation? Do we live in a video game? And then see what people say. I think it'd be quite interesting, funny. I haven't really thought much more about it than that. I'm certainly not going to go around pubs and clubs and ask drunkards what they think, because that sounds horrible. If you're going to interact with drunkards, you've got to be drunk yourself, I think. It's not very pleasant. Ask any barman or bar person. Right, another question from Man in the Mirror. Very hard to find people that are awake, especially the level of awake. These days I stick to myself a lot. Go to work, do my job, only talk when spoken to. I've become an undercover NPC, blending in. They're everywhere, and they are onto me. I've only found one other person that is as knowledgeable as myself, which really sucks. Yeah, it does suck. I don't know whether it's... I think it's an ego thing that we like to say we're awake and everyone else is asleep. So I think we should be aware of that, right? Because, in a sense, I'm no better than anybody else. I'm really bloody average. I like to think I'm better than everybody else, but that just gives me a false boost in ego, yeah? A little virtue point. Aren't you brilliant? Blah, blah, blah. Nobody else understands me. Blah, blah, blah. But actually, I think you can find a commonality with most people. Sometimes it takes a little bit more effort. I found this. I ran an experiment where I would just talk to people at parties, and you can always find something in common with someone else. There's always one thing that you can find in common, and you never know. Like, sometimes I say, oh, I grew up here, and they go, oh, that's where I live. And then before you know it, you've got something to talk about. Once you start talking about that thing, they open up more to you, you open up more to them, and they become less of a perceived NPC, right? It's not to say that NPCs don't exist. I think some people just need to come out of their shell. Yeah, I know it's tempting to sort of, I know it's really tempting to sort of think, oh, no one else is awake or nobody else thinks like I do. Because I've been there before and it's pretty lonely, but it's a state of mind as well. I think some people just don't want to ask the big questions, and they don't need to. We don't need everybody to be asking the big questions, Some people just want to live normal, very, very normal lives, and that's fine. Let them do that. But it's up to us to find out the big questions. And when we do find out the answers to the big questions, they will agree with us, because it will become part of common parlance, whatever you can say the word, right? That's how we do it. We don't do it by going around shouting about it like vegans, right? You do it by building up a wall of evidence like a lawyer in a courtroom until it becomes undeniable. Or you raise it as a philosophical argument, like the simulation hypothesis. It's a philosophical argument. It's not been proven, but it's hard to argue with, right? And they might want to argue against it, but it'd be flipping tricky too. So that's the way to do it, I think. And you can have a good time with people that are not awake, I think. Sometimes you just got to flip and try and, if you want to find other people that are awake, find groups online where people meet up. I think there's a website called meetup.com where there's like groups where you can go and discuss these things. You sit around, have some drinks and talk about open-minded stuff, So look into that. Next question from Eric. I think therefore I am. You're real, my friend, 100%. And that feeling you get being around other real players, I feel that I get that sense as well. I would say maybe my accuracy is 80%. We've came to a lot of the same conclusions, and also, Jack, my opinion, don't do drugs as you don't want the veil lifted any more than it already has. A big reason why I'll never go in that direction. People like us can't do drugs. The answers we seek will either come naturally or when we die. All right, let me just answer that first bit and I'll come to the rest. I think therefore I am. Yeah, I think that's good. You're real. Well, I feel real. That feeling you get being around other players. Yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it? Because everyone feels real, but some people feel more real than others. Just the way I see it. Accuracy is 80%. Wow, I'd like to see that tested. Don't do drugs. You don't want the veil lifted any more than it already has. I don't really want to do drugs anymore. No, I might do DMT one day in a safe environment. But apart from that, no, I'm not going to dabble much more than that. Because, you know what, like, I don't think I need to. A lot of the answers come to me pretty naturally anyway, you know. It comes to me in dreams, daydreams, and I think, oh yeah, these epiphanies, you know, they come to me all the time. I don't think I need to add in more stuff to blow my mind. And also, you know, simplicity is key. The answer to this game that we're living in, it's easy, it's simple. But a lot of the new age stuff, they tack a load of crap onto it to confuse you. But it's actually really flipping simple. You don't need to do all this other stuff, you know, all these rituals that they make you do. I'm not even sure that the law of attraction exists, to be honest. I think it does in some form, but it's probably about 1% of really how it really works. I don't think it works in the way they say it does. It works for them because they sell books and videos and things and make tons of money out of it. Of course it does. And I've made a video about this on my channel, so check that out. Where law of attraction is basically just confirmation bias. If you manifest a Ferrari, you can go, oh my God, the law of attraction works, amazing. If you never manifest a Ferrari, the people who peddle the law of attraction can go, you just didn't do it right. And it's like, oh, for sake, piss off, talking bollocks. I'd rather find something you like doing, put all of your time and effort into it, or as much as you can, every day, consistent action, and a positive attitude, and you might get what you want. You might. There's no guarantees. If you knew you were going to get something, it's not going to be as fun, is it? Anyway, on with the question. That singularity concept, wow, never thought of it like that before. I don't think I want AI to reach that level. That's why Elon Musk is trying to merge us with AI so that AI can't wipe us out. Because if it does, it wipes itself out. It's inevitable as well. It's gonna happen. Thanks for asking my questions. Also very interesting. Also, I'm no good at reading. The peculiar pit is a hole like a piercing you're born with on your ear, and you low-key answered number 7. Thanks. It's all right. That closing statement, one possible conclusion is those people who are clearly really bad off are simply NPCs, or in the next level up criminals, where there is a jail sentence where to live life with a clear handicap in a simulation we know as life. Yes, very good point. And you jolted my memory into a video that I was going to make, which is about this life possibly being a prison planet for some players. So we know that sometimes, like a video game, it has a script and a narrative. You can kind of make choices at certain places, take you off in a different direction. So it's kind of like it's not a linear narrative. You can go off in different directions. But when you approach something and you've got a decision to make, you can go one of 2 ways, or one of 3 ways, or one of 5 ways. But it all branches back. It all branches back to the same kind of flowing narrative. Now, what if some people, with their preordained life and narrative, are serving a jail sentence in base reality or the next reality up, and they invent a technology to make lifelike simulations, and so with their prisoners and criminals, they make them live a life inside this video game whereby it's pretty horrible. So, for instance, right, when somebody gets life for murder in this life that we're in now, right, they go to jail for 25 or for life, right, for the rest of their life. But the people whose family has been like murdered, they're on the news going, it doesn't feel like justice, even though he's gone to jail forever. It's not real justice. And it's true, right? Because it's not. That person is still alive. They're living kind of a miserable existence in solitude and in prison, right? But it never feels like justice. So what if in the future we say, as a bigger deterrent, if you do murder somebody, you go inside a simulation and you live 100 lifetimes as some poor fuckwit, a druggie, chronic illnesses, all sorts of terrible things happening to you. And that is your experience as a prisoner. And you live 100 lifetimes, just being shat on from a great height constantly. Or perhaps we are all prisoners. All right, next question from Ella Snow. People who have split personality are just different players. Oh my god, and intrusive thoughts. Mind blown. And I replied saying, yeah, could have been a mistake at the factory when inserting the souls. It could be two souls sharing the same experience. Think about that. You could have two players playing the same player. It's like on FIFA or one of those other, I can't think of the American equivalent, but like FIFA, it's a soccer game. And you can play as a multiplayer where you both control the players on your team. So you switch between them. And so you could be one day where, what person one is playing as you, and then the next day player two gets to play as you. So it's like a shared experience. Perhaps in base reality, or the reality above this one, they could only afford to go halves on a player if money is a thing in the next reality. Question from Catherine Golden. Not sure we are here to learn lessons, but for the experiences of playing one of countless games in the universe. The reason I question the lesson belief is because apparently when we return to base reality, there's a euphoric environment. We leave our negative emotions here, and we have access to all knowledge. As for the skills we learn here, they wouldn't be transferable to where we go when we pass. Pardon me. It's also said that this 3D reality game is the most challenging one going, and that we souls who incarnate here are viewed as superheroes when we return. Lol. Ooh, pardon me. That's a very interesting comment. So, let me just start with the first bit. Not sure we're here to learn lessons, but for the experience of playing one of countless games in the universe. You could be right. We might not be here to learn lessons. Just like I was thinking about what you said, and I thought, when you play Grand Theft Auto, you don't play it to learn lessons. You play it for the entertainment. Because if we're in base reality, right, and it's boring utopia created by all these do-gooders, then of course you're bored. So you're going to go into a simulation to experience things that you can't experience in your world. And that would have nothing to do with learning lessons. That would have everything to do with wanting a thrill and wanting to be entertained, like a film or a video game. And so, yeah, I think quite possibly you are right. It feels like we're learning lessons, but at the same time, no matter how many lessons you seem to learn, life always throws you a fucking curveball. Just when you think you're getting ahead, in comes a bloody next curveball. It throws you off course. So, yeah, I think you could be right. The reason I question the lesson belief is because apparently when we return to base reality, there's a euphoric moment where we leave our negative emotions here and we have access to all knowledge. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Leave our negative emotions here in the body, and then we get up there and we have a euphoric moment, which I assume is going to be like heaven. But heaven to us could be just the next reality. Could be like like the utopian world, which is above us. As for our skills when we learn here, they wouldn't be transferable to where we go when we pass. That's true. That's probably why I think the lessons that we learn here are not applicable. So they don't matter. So in which case we're not here to learn lessons. We're here to play a game. I mean, the lessons thing, that's kind of makes us feel better because it would be like we're here for a reason. But actually, I think the truth is a lot more subtle than that. We're not here for a reason. We're here to have a laugh. Just like you go on a roller coaster ride. Why do you go on a roller coaster? For the thrill of it, right? I mean, I don't, but, I don't want that thrill. I'm too scared. But you go on a roller coaster for the thrill of it, not to learn a lesson, right? I think that's the best analogy I can think of on the spot. Okay. It's also said that this 3D reality game is the most challenging one going, and that we souls who incarnate here are viewed as superheroes when we return. You are bang on the money, I reckon, because this is, I mean, we all know this is a tough game, right? There's no denying it. There's no point in me sitting here going, oh, just man up and everything will be all right. Just work harder and just, But some days I get up and I think, oh, fuck this. I can't be bothered. It just feels too hard. Like I was saying, sometimes you get ahead and you think, I'm going to do this thing, and you learn all about it, and then you do it and it fails. And you just think, for God's sake. Sometimes you just want to lay in bed and cry and just think, I can't be bothered anymore. When things don't work out as you want them to, and you just think, I give up. And, I'm with you. It's days I feel like that. Oh, I just cannot be arsed. Because it's just too annoying sometimes. Sometimes it feels, and this is confirmation bias, sometimes it feels like life, the purpose of life is to be hard, Because as soon as you get a little bit ahead, it drags you back. That's like that concept of 2 steps forward, 1 step back. As soon as you get 2 steps ahead, it drags you back again. That's how it feels anyway. I'm not saying that is how life is. And I know there'll be people in the comments saying, oh, you've got the wrong attitude there, Jack. I know that's the wrong attitude, but that's the real attitude. That's how I think. And that's how we all think. It happens to the best of us, happens to all of us. But, there's nothing else you can do except get on with it. You know what I mean? And move on and try again. I replied to you saying, oh my God, that's really interesting. So if we don't take lessons we learn from here with us, what's the point? Because what would be the point? Life would simply be a game then like GTA for entertainment or for the thrill of it, which is what I've just said. And Catherine Golden has replied, right, I learned about this perspective from certain NDE accounts, near-death experience accounts. Most people apparently don't zoom further out than, say, the 4th dimension, the game, but a few have pulled way outside time, space, and saw that we are all creator gods, i.e. extensions of source. Let me just answer that. I completely agree. I didn't know that people had done that, but something I've always thought anyway, that God, what we call God, which is a bad name for him because it brings up religious overtones. I don't mean God as in the religious God. We mean God as in the thing where we've all come from, the infinite intelligence that runs and owns this whole thing, running the whole show. So that could be AI. Yeah, that. Understanding the law of attraction would probably be a good start to the cheat codes. I'm not sure I agree with that. I don't think I agree with that at all. I see no evidence that the law of attraction works. And if you can prove me wrong, fair play. But I used to look at a lot of the law of attraction stuff, and I just did it wrong and all that. Yeah, maybe, but it never worked for me. Not properly. So I think there's other cheat codes undiscovered. There's other things I've been looking into, like dimension jumping. Have you heard of that? I don't know why I'm asking you. Dimension jumping, which I need to do more research on, but that looks promising, and it really is based in physics, science, and things like that which we can measure. So, hang on, let me just move you down a little bit. Hang on, there we go. That's better. Okay. Albert says, I like it better when you don't switch positions with the camera. I can be more focused. Good concept as always. Thanks, Albert. Yeah, I'm glad you prefer or like me not switching positions with the camera. It came a little bit as a culture shock at first, trying to make videos like this rather than the usual way I do it. If it helps with understanding what I'm saying more, then obviously that's a good thing. Captain Thomas Andrews asks, at around 11:55-ish into the video, 12 minutes into the video, I'm really sorry to add a quick correction, but as the owner of Multiversity Enterprise, I need to inform you that Facebook isn't a multiverse world, it's a metaverse world. The metaverse is just one world within the multiverse, or the multiverse may be one world inside the metaverse. Either way, Facebook and Multiversity Enterprise work on 2 separate concepts. Again, I'm sorry, I do, however, really love your vids, and I have a question for you. After doing some research, what's your opinion on a world where time goes backwards? Well, What's my opinion on a world where time goes backwards? Ooh, it sounds like that film Tenet, which I haven't seen yet, which I've been meaning to see but haven't because I can't be bothered. Going to the cinema's a faff, innit? And also, when you go to the cinema, it costs about a tenner to watch the film, and then you've got to buy popcorn or something, because I'm not sitting there without a drink or anything or something to munch. So, and also I don't like going to the cinema to eat. I don't see the point in that. And you've also got to sit with all the bloody plebs rustling around and making noises and being on the mobile phone. And I always worry that I get to the cinema, I sit down, and I'm going to have some git sit next to me talking. Because I'm not a very confrontational person. I'm not going to be like, oi mate, shut the fudge up. I'm just not. I'm just going to be like, I'm very British. I'm going to sit there, I'm going to be, oh, for God's sake, and then not enjoy the film. Anyway, after doing some research, what's your opinion on a world where time goes backwards? Well, it'd be trippy as flip, wouldn't it? A time goes backwards. I'm trying to get what you mean from that. So, obviously we'd be old, and then we would get younger, but then we would have no one to look after us, unless we had children, and then they would be born old, and then we would, as we became babies, they would enter middle age? Is that what you mean? And then the middle-aged kids would look after us as babies. Oh my God, that's trippy. I wonder if we could make a simulation and run it and see if it works. Ooh. Also, I'm going to check out this multiversity enterprise. Yeah, I think I did use metaverse and multiverse interchangeably when they're two very different things. Metaverse is the thing that Facebook owns and runs, which is a metaverse virtual reality world, and the multiverse is kind of like different simulations inside simulations. Next question. Ryan Mercer says, "Here we go, boys!" Thanks, Ryan. Angela Ramsey says, "Could an NPC be a narcissist or a psychopath?" Yeah, they could be. I mean, technically, people, humans, NPCs, they can be anything. I see a lot of narcissists around these days. I think social media has made a lot of narcissists out of people, you know, egotistical fuckwits. Psychopaths as well, you know. I think there's always the same percentage of psychopaths in the world. But because we've all got mobile phones and cameras and things now with us in our pockets, we can whip them out and start recording after, you know, in 1 second flat. When you see a psychopath doing something psychopathy, you can snap a quick video of it and it lives on the internet forever. And so I just think there's always been the same amount of psychopaths. It's just that we see them more because we're looking at TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and shit. And yeah, we just see them more. Next question from Yakitori Boy, which is the best name of the night. "Thanks for asking my question. No worries, man. Ask another one. If you are a man. If not, sorry." Ella Snow asks, "What if EMDR therapy is just the system hacking into our headset mainframe to fix what's broken? Wowzers. Like that video I shown you where the dude sees his dashboard and hacked his reality." Yeah, so there's a video from, I think it's Brightside on YouTube, and they did a video about cheat codes to life. What if we had real cheat codes to life? It's a cool video. I'll try and link it in the description below. But basically, it goes through the idea of what if we could hack our reality, which is kind of what I wanted to get across with the previous video that I made, Can We Hack the Matrix? But I don't feel like I answered those questions properly. And that video, Can I Hack Your Reality? Can We Hack the Matrix, sorry, that I made, I'm going to turn that into a kind of a 3-parter. So that was the first part. So using Wim Hof's techniques. So you should look into Wim Hof, right? Because, you know, you can hack the Matrix with some of his methods by becoming a superhero. But there's 2 other ways to hack reality. First one is hacking the societal matrix. So, you know, becoming a millionaire. Now, I've got things I'm trying, but, you know, we're all trying to become millionaires, kind of. I've got some tips for you for that. And it's something that you should try and do, because money's flipping important. If money buys freedom. So it's a commendable thing to try and not give up. Because, you know, I think we should do that. And eventually, when this channel grows enough, I want to start what I call a war room, because life is war, and a war room is where I'm going to build this war room, which is where you can join it, and we will be like knights around a round table. You have to apply to join. It probably costs quite a lot of money, but we will sit down together and we'll build a big club like Fight Club, Jack Simmond's War Room, and we will discuss business, how to hack the matrix, all of those great things, right? Because starting a business and making lots of money leads to freedom. Freedom means you can better explore hacking the matrix, finding out what this reality is, and doing whatever you want to do. That to me is hacking the matrix, because you're living your life in the video game the way that you want to live it, rather than having some boss tell you what to fucking do all the time, which drives me insane. So that's really important. And the second one is hacking your way out of the matrix, like out of the simulation, which could be just killing yourself. I think there's better ways to do it than that. I think there's ways to see out of the simulation without killing yourself. Like, I don't know, maybe astral traveling or leaving your body or doing DMT or things like that. But I need to explore it more. That's why I made it like a one-part video, and then I want to do 2 more, maybe 3 more videos, like a 3-parter documentary about how to hack the matrix. That would be cool, wouldn't it? Tell me what you think, and if you've got any ideas for it, please let me know, because I kind of need some boom with it. What if EMDR therapy is just the system hacking into our headset mainframe to fix what's broken? Interesting, isn't it? That's a very interesting idea. So what if we're above this reality, we're wearing a headset, and if the headset gets a little bit broken, they can come in and fix it. And EMDR therapy, let me just quickly Google what that is. EMDR, I did Google it before, I've forgotten. EMDR therapy for trauma and PTSD is the eye movement desensitization and reprocessing therapy. It is an interactive psychotherapy technique used to relieve psychological stress. During EMDR therapy sessions, you can relieve traumatic or triggering experiences in brief doses while the therapist directs your eye movements. Ooh. Eye movement desensitization and reprocessing is a form of psychotherapy in which the person being treated is asked to recall distressing images. The therapist then directs the patient in one type of bilateral stimulation, such as side-to-side rapid eye movement or hand tapping. Ooh, interesting. Yeah, it could be, couldn't it? That's a really interesting idea, that. Sousa APS says, I believe 99% of people are NPCs. Could be, mate. Who knows? I'm not sure how we're going to find out either. Jan de Gemel asks, have you ever tried DMT? Nope, but I am going to at some point. Ella Snow says, if you ever have psychedelics, pure orange juice gets rid of it. If you just chug it, you'll be fine. Yeah, so I think you're referring to my Amsterdam story there, right? Whereby I tripped out on truffles and wasn't very pleasant. And I do remember chugging orange juice because the guy who sold us them said, if you don't feel very well, get some sugar or orange juice down you. I think I had a can of Coke and some orange juice. And yeah, it helped a bit, not much. Last question from Albert. Did you ever ask why there's always news every day and a lot of them never happened in reality? They are just simulated stories. No, I hadn't heard about that. Sounds a bit weird. Simulated stories. Dunno. I don't know what you mean, really. You'll have to explain that a bit more for me. So, yeah, there's always news every day because there's always things happening every day. It's not always necessarily simulated, but, it's like, oh my God, Johnny, we ain't got any news today. What are we going to do? We're going to have to make it up, Johnny. We're going to have to make it up. Come on, let's go and shoot 5 people, then make a story about it. But, that would be reality, wouldn't it? I mean, I think what you mean is, like, fake news. I've heard CNN does make up a lot of fake news. They reports it as news, and it's like, what are you doing? You can't just make shit up. That's mental. I mean, every news station's also got their own kind of spin on things, the way they want you to think about stuff. Politically, I don't have any side, because I think it's pointless. Once you choose a side, politically, everything after that is confirmation bias. So if you just stay in the middle, I kind of think they're right. I kind of think you're right a bit on this and that, on this and that, and you're right on this and that. And also, I don't really care, as long as it doesn't affect me. I used to care, but now I realise that far better to concentrate on myself and improve myself, becoming a millionaire, working out, getting fit, making these videos, replying to you, making these vodcasts, going out, having cool experiences, and having a ball of life. Politics doesn't change any of that. It's not going to change my life, unless they tell you to, we've got to lock you all indoors again, in which case I'll be pissed off. But, yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. Just ignore politics as much as you possibly can, because it just makes you annoyed and angry, and it's a way to vent expression for your life not being how you want it to be, and the only person that can change that is you, not a politician. Trust me, my cousin's a politician. So that is all your questions. If you have any questions, please comment them below this video and I'll answer them in the next vodcast. But thanks very much for listening. I think that's very good of you to listen all the way through if you have. Easter egg name for the end of this video is... think of a good Easter egg name. Because what I want to do is, everybody who watches till the end gets an Easter egg. When you put all those Easter eggs together, it combines into a phrase. So in a couple of months or weeks, I'll be giving away a lot of my stuff, scripts, books, things like that you can download. I'll be giving them all away, but it will be password protected. So you can only access it with all the Easter eggs that are at the end of the videos. And you combine them into a phrase that will give you access to the password protected file. So it pays to watch to the end. Now, the Easter egg then is... can't use plums again. Let's go for Wim Hof. Wim Hof is the Easter egg.